Sometimes we think that his silence or distance means he's not interested. We ask ourselves, have I become unimportant to him? And our minds start filling the gaps with doubts, insecurities, and assumptions that rarely match the truth. Carl Jung explains that what we see on the surface of a relationship rarely tells the full story. Words, gestures, and silence are often just the outer layer of much deeper, unconscious processes happening within a person. Jung shows us that, like women, men don't always act fully aware of their feelings. Their behavior can be contradictory. They may come closer and pull away at the same time. These seemingly confusing actions aren't signs of disinterest. They reflect inner conflict and a deep, unspoken longing. A man can feel strong love, but how he expresses it is shaped by his fears, past experiences, and the parts of himself he prefers to hide. From Jung's perspective, what seems like avoidance often mirrors this inner struggle. He doesn't want to appear vulnerable, dependent, or needy, yet he struggles to balance his need for independence with his desire for closeness. In this silent battle, his gestures can be unclear. One day he is attentive and present, the next he seems distant. Outsiders may find this confusing, but those who understand men's psychology know that every action has meaning, every silence carries a message. Even if it doesn't look like he's trying to get closer consciously, his heart and subconscious are quietly working to maintain the bond. According to Jung, this is the nature of unconscious love. The desire for connection is always there, even if he doesn't openly show it. Every small gesture, every detail he remembers, and every subtle concern for your well-being signals that his affection is real and deep. Before assuming his distance means disinterest, we should look closer. True love doesn't always appear in grand words or dramatic gestures. It often shows quietly in consistent small actions, in the way he thinks of you without saying it, or in how his attention lingers on details others might miss. When we understand this, we learn not to judge his behavior, but to view it with compassion, realizing that what seems like confusion often hides a deepening love. In this series, we will explore the signs that show when a man is in love, even when he withdraws. We will learn to read his gestures, his silence, and his behavior through Jungian psychology, realizing that behind every contradiction lies a message revealing the truth of his feelings. Someone who truly loves can show closeness even from a distance, and every ambiguous gesture can quietly express affection and devotion. Sign 1 is contradictory behavior. One of the most puzzling yet telling signs that a man is in love, according to Carl Jung, is his inner contradiction. He may seem distant, cold, or indifferent, while at the same time showing subtle, almost imperceptible signs of interest. To someone unaware of men's inner dynamics, this may feel like rejection. But Jung teaches that this behavior often mirrors an internal struggle, a tension between the image he wants to present to the world and his unconscious, where his most genuine and vulnerable desires reside. A man in love may fear appearing too dependent or too vulnerable, because from childhood, vulnerability is often associated with weakness. This tension sometimes causes him to withdraw, distance himself, or fall silent, as if to protect against potential pain or rejection. But distance does not equal disinterest. Often, his thoughts remain focused on you. He reflects on every word, every gesture, every shared moment, searching for a safe way to get closer without losing emotional balance. In practice, this shows up as contradictory behaviors. He may send short, casual-looking messages, yet consistently. He may seek proximity indirectly, appear where you are, or show concern for your well-being through small, nearly unnoticed gestures. Every action, no matter how small or ambiguous, reflects his unconscious effort to maintain the connection. Jung would describe this as the manifestation of the unconscious desire for union, an inner drive that operates beyond logic, sometimes in ways that seem confusing to outsiders. This contradictory behavior can also stem from fear of rejection or emotional failure. A man in love fears losing what matters to him. This fear makes him oscillate between closeness and withdrawal, between showing affection and keeping distance. Yet behind every withdrawal lies the possibility of return. Behind every silence is a thought of you. His love doesn't vanish in moments of distance. It simply retreats while he processes his feelings and searches for a safe way to express them. When we view this pattern through Jung's lens, we begin to understand his actions more clearly. Instead of seeing his withdrawals as disinterest, we recognize them as moments where his love grapples with his own fears and inner contradictions. Every small gesture, every unexpected message, every accidental encounter is a reminder that his heart is present. Even when his behavior seems otherwise, when we learn to read these signals correctly, a pattern emerges. Contradiction does not equal rejection. It reveals emotional depth. A man who acts this way is not playing with your feelings. He is wrestling with his own emotions while his love for you quietly grows stronger. Jung encourages us to look beneath the surface and understand that true affection doesn't always announce itself with clear words. It appears in silent persistence, unconscious efforts, and gestures that, despite their contradictions, all point toward you in a way only the heart can fully grasp. Sign 2 is attention to small details. One of the subtlest and most powerful ways a man shows love is through his focus on the little things. According to Carl Jung, the human unconscious often expresses itself through actions that may seem minor at first, but reveal genuine and deep emotions. Words can be empty or imprecise, but in the details, true, consistent interest appears, a proof that his heart and mind are present, even if he does not say it outright. These small gestures can take many forms. He remembers something you mentioned weeks ago, shows interest in your preferences, notices changes in your mood, or asks about an important moment in your life. To many, these may seem trivial, but for Jung, they are a clear expression of the unconscious desire for connection. Every remembered detail is intentional, showing that you occupy a space in his inner world, even when his outward behavior appears distant or distracted. From a Jungian perspective, love doesn't always manifest through grand words or dramatic gestures. It often appears quietly and consistently, in ways only an attentive and mindful observer can notice. An unexpected message recalling something you said long ago, or an action that shows he thought of you when you least expected it, reveals an affection and attentiveness far deeper than verbal declarations of love could convey. These small details trace a profound bond, an affection that shows itself without breaking the walls built by his insecurities and fears. Often, this happens unconsciously. A man may not even realize he is expressing his love this way. According to Jung, much of our emotional behavior is guided by the unconscious, and these seemingly minor actions mirror his deepest, most sincere feelings. It is his way of staying close to you without fully exposing himself, showing affection safely and steadily while wrestling with his own doubts and fears. The emotional impact of these small details is immense. For the woman on the receiving end, every gesture, comment, and action signifies that she is not just a fleeting interest, but holds a genuine place in his inner world, one that goes far beyond surface-level concern. Jung emphasized that true love reveals itself through consistency, quiet devotion, and the way someone remembers, protects, and values you without expecting immediate recognition. When you notice that he pays attention to what you say, recalls your preferences, understands your worries, or remembers important moments, don't dismiss it as coincidence or mere politeness. These small details are clear signs of his affection. Every gesture shows that his heart and mind are reaching for you, even when his words or overall behavior seem contradictory. Those who understand this dynamic can look beyond the obvious and recognize true love in the quietest actions. Jungian psychology teaches that deep affection is rarely proclaimed loudly. It shows itself subtly through meaningful details. Sign 3 is unexpected emotional reactions. Another profound indicator that a man is in love, even if it seems confusing or contradictory, is his unexpected emotional responses. According to Carl Jung, the human unconscious strongly shapes how we express feelings. True love can trigger reactions that are not always logical or predictable. These may include nervousness, awkwardness, sudden mood swings, or behaviors that seem at odds with what he consciously says or does. To someone unaware of men's inner psychology, this may appear as disinterest or lack of commitment. In reality, these reactions are expressions of intense emotions he has not yet fully processed. A man in love experiences an inner conflict between his true feelings and what he believes he must show. On one side is his persona, the social mask projecting control and security. On the other is his shadow, where fears, insecurities, and his most authentic desires reside. The clash between these sides often produces unpredictable behavior. He may withdraw at critical moments, only to later find ways to reconnect. He may avoid physical closeness out of fear of vulnerability, yet still seek indirect ways to remain near you. Every seemingly contradictory reaction reflects this inner struggle and, upon closer observation, reveals deep emotional interest. These emotional responses can also appear as mild jealousy or heightened concern for your well-being. They are not always rational. Sometimes they are brief, spontaneous outbursts, moments when the heart and mind instinctively respond to the fear of losing you or sharing your attention with someone else. Jung explained that true love is expressed unconsciously, guided by emotions beyond logic. When he acts unexpectedly, it is not instability but the sign of a heart that feels deeply and seeks connection, even if it cannot always express it clearly or directly. A practical example: after a distant day, he might surprise you with a loving message or a small gesture showing that he has been thinking of you all along. Or he may feel nervous when you come closer physically, yet try to prolong the conversation or create new shared moments. This behavior reflects the tension between fear of rejection and desire for closeness, an inner conflict typical of someone experiencing genuine, deep love. From Jung's perspective, these reactions reveal emotional depth, where at first it may seem like confusion. By reading between the lines, we understand that behind every unexpected gesture and every seemingly illogical emotion lies a hidden message. His affection for you is real and meaningful. The key is to observe patterns rather than isolated moments. Emotional intensity and vulnerability often appear unpredictably, but always with the same goal: to reach you, to approach you, even indirectly. When his reactions don't always match what he says or does, don't assume disinterest. Jung explains that these contradictions reflect a love moving between consciousness and the unconscious, between the desire for closeness and the fear of vulnerability. By recognizing and understanding these signals. You can see beyond the obvious and discover a genuine, deep affection, proof that his heart truly seeks you, even when his behavior seems otherwise. Conclusion: Carl Jung's study of male psychology shows that what first appears as confusion, indifference, or distance is often the expression of deep love that manifests subtly. Every contradictory gesture, every remembered detail, every unexpected reaction, and every discreet attempt to get closer are unmistakable signs that a man is in love, even if his outward behavior seems different. Jung reminds us that true love does not always reveal itself through grand words or dramatic gestures. It often expresses itself quietly and steadily, guided by the unconscious and a sincere desire for connection. The apparent contradictions in his behavior do not mean he is playing with your feelings or ignoring you. They reflect the inner conflict between his deep emotions and his fears, between his shadow side and his persona. A man in love struggles with vulnerability, balancing the need to protect himself with the desire to be close to you. Every withdrawal, silence, or unexpected gesture is part of an inner process in which he navigates these opposites while maintaining his connection with you. Understanding this dynamic allows us to interpret his behavior clearly, without being misled by insecurities or false assumptions. This awareness teaches us to recognize and appreciate true love beyond the obvious. Jung encourages us to see the whole picture, to read between the lines and understand that genuine affection exists in quiet consistency, in seemingly small details that reveal deep emotional commitment. An unexpected message, a small gesture of care, a discreet presence. These are all part of a love language that transcends words, a language understood only through attention and sensitivity. This understanding provides emotional clarity and strength. Realizing that apparent distance can signal affection helps us avoid superficial judgments and recognize the essence of his feelings. It allows us to distinguish between those who truly care and those who merely pretend. And it teaches us to consciously and gratefully accept true love. Furthermore, this knowledge fosters more balanced relationships, where affection is acknowledged in all its forms, not just what is immediately visible. In summary, according to Jung, a man's true love is reflected in the combination of his contradictory gestures, his attention to small details, his unexpected emotional reactions, and his quiet efforts to get closer to you. Even if his outward behavior seems confusing, every action carries a clear message. He seeks you, values you, and loves you. Those who learn to interpret these signals through the lens of depth psychology can perceive beyond the surface, understand his heart, and realize that true love is not loudly proclaimed, but quietly, consistently, and powerfully lived. So the next time you notice his distance, silence, or ambiguous gestures, look deeper. Observe his patterns, small details, quiet efforts, and reactions. There you will find proof of a deep, genuine love. A love that may be silent, yet speaks louder than words. The true power to recognize this love lies in understanding, appreciating, and receiving it with the emotional clarity that only Jungian depth psychology can provide.